Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Action Coach in Birmingham here on Monday, the 12th of April, a day I think many of us have been looking forward to in terms of the pubs opening, the shops and retail reopening, and the restrictions starting to ease across the country. And that's all down to the great work and effort of us all in terms of trying to curtail the virus. And of course, the great news of the vaccines that have been rolling out. So it's really a big, huge step forward in the right direction today. And what we thought we'd talk to you this lunchtime about is how we need to rethink, reinvent and reopen our businesses, and some top tips from us here at Action Coach in Birmingham. I'm sure many of you will have heard these before or start thinking about them. But as I say in all of my workshops, webinars, masterclasses, it's about putting things into action, not just thinking about it as well. And I'm great that we've got my colleague from Action Coach in Birmingham, Pam Taylor. Hi, Pam. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good, thank you. Yeah, good to be joining you today.
It's good to have you with us. And those who are regular with us will know that, well, probably tell that I've got a bit of a cold and a cough, not my normal voice. So Pam is here as backup in case my voice goes completely. She's going to chip in with the odd comment here and there. If you are listening to us for the first time, please do share, like, comment on our feed, both on Facebook and on LinkedIn. If you're logged in via the Zoom platform, I know we've got a couple of people already, please do ask any questions on Zoom as well. And also this video will be available on our YouTube channel afterwards. So please do reach out to us at any point if you have any questions, or indeed afterwards as well. So I just want to tell you for a bit, start off with a bit about who we are. Action Coach in Birmingham. We are the world's #1 coaching firm. We've been going over 30 yeyears, and we are in more than 1,000 coaching offices in 80 countries worldwide. And Pam, you may not have heard this, but I had the pleasure of meeting Brad Sugars about 6 months before we went into lockdown, so 18 months ago now, up in Edinburgh. And I said to Brad, I said, how many countries do you think we're going to be in, Brad, when you see the vision of the finished business? And without any hesitation, Pam, he said, Steve, I'm not going to do his American accent. He said, Steve, we're going to be in 109 countries. And I said to him, why 109, Brad? It's a really odd number, isn't it, Pam? Why 109 is a bit of a bizarre number. Anyway, he turned around without any hesitation. He said, Steve, because McDonald's are in 108. So he's got this really clear vision to be a worldwide business.
I can't imagine what he's like to actually physically meet, to be honest.
Oh, he's a great laugh. He's very much to the point, but a great laugh, and he knows what he's talking about, and he has this real passion, Pam, to create world abundance through business re-education. He believes that we've all had the benefit of education throughout our life from a very young stage and age, but as we go into business, it can be a lonely place, and having that support and that mentor role, having that coaching person beside you, that accountability to really help you focus in your business is so important. He's still very involved in the business, privately owned and founded by him, and Pam, your focus in the business is actually is marketing and social media. And I know that Brad is very active on social media, isn't he?
And I've listened to a lot of his videos as well. He's a very interesting chap coming across in the videos that I've watched anyway.
Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, for my tears. I go through this lunch and learn. I just need to keep my throat going. But absolutely, I would link in with Brad on LinkedIn, on Facebook, or Google him, connect with him. He was, throughout lockdown, he was doing driveway chats. I think he's now back on the road and doing drive time chats. He goes live a couple of times a week, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does these like 5 minutes, and it's just amazing what you could get out, what he will speak about in 5 minutes, that you get like that sort of, that light bulb moment, like you say.
Absolutely.
Where you go, oh my God.
You can see my slides before I'm about to present them. He talks about BFOs a lot, doesn't he? The blinding flashes of the obvious. And as I said a few minutes ago, there's probably a lot of the content I'm going to talk about today that most business owners are already thinking about. But the thing is about connecting those bits of information that we already have in our brain together. And it's that aha moment when we think, absolutely, I need to go and do that before it's too late. It's that light bulb moment, or we suddenly think of how we can apply something differently in our business. And that's a lot about what Brad and all of us at Action Coach are about. It's about encouraging and supporting business owners to put those light bulb moments into action. So if you have a light bulb moment this lunchtime, please do share it with us, or share it with us on the feed afterwards. We'd love to know what your light bulbs are from this or any other of our lunch and learns. As I say, if you're just joining us a few minutes late, we're going to be talking about key points to reinvent rethink and reopen your business today on the 12th of April as businesses open, restrictions start to ease. Unfortunately for me, it's half term down where I am. I've got the kids, so I can't quite make the pub today. I don't need a haircut, but my son does. So I'm going to be trying to get down to the barber's later on today with him to get rid of the mop on his head. But it's all about how we can rethink, reinvent and reopen our businesses. So if you're having any questions, got any thoughts or comments, please do put them in the feed as we go along. Now, I just want to share this, a long-standing slide that we put together a year ago now as we went into lockdown in March 2020. And at that time, we didn't know what that journey was going to look like in terms of timescales, but we tried to map out the different phases we would be going through as business owners. And if we can go back to what our mind was going through and our thoughts, sort of lockdown in the spring of last year, it was all quite panic stations, wasn't it? We were sort of quite anxious. Well, I know I was personally anxious about the business, anxious about family and finances, about, from a health perspective, all our personal health and my own children and my partner. We all had these mixed emotions going on in our minds. We weren't quite sure what the state of play was going to be going forwards.
Yeah. I remember photographing this slide actually very early on when we, I think you must have showed it at Profit Club when the very early days of going online, and I remember photographing this just to keep it in my mind as well, which is
it's a slide I've used an awful lot. I'm not ashamed to say I think it's a brilliant slide, and that golden star has moved along gradually, and dare I say moved back as well, over the last 12-18 months. But I think we are now at the stage where we are, most of us, at the stage of warming up, and what I would say I realized quite early on is, I don't know, Pam, if you remember, sort of the summer of last year, when Boris announced we could go and buy a car and a cabbage, I phrased it as. The open air markets were reopening and the car showrooms were reopening. They were the first two industries last sort of summer, autumn to reopen. And it soon became apparent that the restrictions were going to ease at different stages depending on what industry you were in.
Yeah.
It wasn't a one size fits all approach, and still isn't, as we know today. It isn't a one size fits all, and depending on what industry, what business you have, the preparation and the timescales are going to be different. And of course, we all know the impact on the retail, the hospitality, the gyms, the soft play centres, all of those has been much more dramatic and much harder than perhaps some of the other industries. And so it's about taking the approach that works and the timescales that work best for you in your business. But I think where we are now, regardless of what industry you're in, we are in that warming up phase. We're in that phase where we're talking to our staff and our teams about coming back. We're talking about how we can ramp up and start to fill those order books and those appointment books, those diaries. We're looking at how we can differentiate ourselves from the competition. And absolutely a key part of this is about mentally preparing ourselves so that when we do open those doors, whether it's today, next week, for the first time, to see people face to face, to start engaging in a different way, not going back to where we were, but going forwards into a new way. It's about having that mental resilience. And another great coach and an individual, Jim Rohn, who inspired Brad to set up Action Coach many years ago. No longer with us, Jim, sadly, but he's got two great quotes, which I absolutely love, and I use on a regular basis in my workshops and webinars. And that's: never wish life were easier, but wish that you were better. It's about what we can do, control the controllables, control what we can do as an individual in our business and in our lives. But also the second one is about working harder on ourselves than we do on the job. It's about having that absolute strength in mindset to drive our business forwards as we go through, as restrictions start to ease. So it's about getting everything in place, but also looking after yourself and your team in terms of the staff mindset and mental strength as well. And I'll touch on that again in a few minutes. Just before I carry on, I just want to check, Pam, is there any questions or anything coming in on the online stream at the moment? Any comments?
No, nothing. No, not at the moment. No.
Okay, no problem at all. I just wanted to give people an opportunity, but also give myself an opportunity to have a slurp of tea, keep my voice going. So I've got nine points I just want to go through on this lunch and learn for a great restart in your business. And the first one is really about re-education and re-preparing. It is about doing your research. As we found out and have found out over the last 18 months, the rules of the game have changed many times in terms of what we can do, what we can't do, what the advice is, what the public health advice is, what the government advice is. And even now, the officials, the elected officials and our local authorities are saying the roadmap may change. We need to make sure we continually go back and know what the rules of the game are in terms of our individual industry, know what the options are. Sorry, Pam, you were going to say.
No, yeah, I was just saying, absolutely, and it just gets quite, does get quite confusing at times. But I'm sure if you are in a particular sector, that you know what's going on in your sector specifically. I mean, a personal level, but I'm always checking what's going on in Scotland so that I know when I can go back there legitimately to see my family. So yeah, it's
Yes.
always
And
shifts.
we are a nation of 4 individual countries. So if you
Yeah,
trade across borders, make sure you know what the rules of the game are locally wherever you're trading in different parts of the country if you have outlets. Also, make sure that you don't only know the government advice nationally, but look at your local authority as well, whichever county you're in, to make sure there's no specific advice in your local authority. So know the barriers, know the rules of the game for your industry, both on a national and a local level. And if you are trading across the country, across the United Kingdom, Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales and England, make sure you know what the local rules of the games are in each individual area. And important as well, as we have gone through Brexit since this presentation was first put together, make sure you're aware of any requirements for trading internationally, not just from a Brexit point of view. That's a whole nother presentation, but just in terms of, if you have staff or customers who are international, think about what their local rules of the game are as well, because I know that the story on the continent right now is very different in terms of progress from restrictions than it is here in the UK. It is, of course, about taking a common sense approach. And I remember, Pam, when we first went into lockdown 12 months ago, I was sort of keen to go to the supermarkets, not necessarily, obviously I needed my toilet paper and my flour at the time and my eggs, which were all running short, but also to see how supermarkets very quickly adapted themselves.
yeah. Oh God, they did.
New common sense approaches. And my local supermarket here now has actually got a traffic light system at the front door to let you in and let you out. Or not let you out, but to let you in. Once you're in there, you've got
Although
to
sometimes you do have to queue to get out as well. I've noticed that in our local supermarket, to be fair.
It is about knowing the rules of the game and making sure your staff know the rules of the game. So is it legal requirement to wear face masks for consumers to wear face masks in your retail space? Make sure you've got the right equipment in place, making sure you've got the right notices, about sanitizing. If you're having one-way systems in your business, the right number of people in your premises at any one time, make sure you've got the right numbers controlled. Any requirements to take contact details? I believe, I haven't researched it fully, but I believe pubs and restaurants need to take details of all people, not just one member of the party, but every member of the party going into the venues. So make sure you know the rules of the game and are taking a common sense approach in terms of, having the right equipment and the right rules and the right processes in place.
Yeah, from a marketing perspective as well, it's good to share that with your clients and audience to reassure them that you have put those things in place. Don't assume that that everybody knows that you've put that in place. It's good to, I said that last year as well. It's almost, if you are that retail space, and you're an independent or whatever, do a live video, show kind of the procedure, walk around the stores, tell people what it is that you're, the setup is and what you expect of them now. It's always reassuring for people who also haven't ventured out for a long time. It's reassuring for them to know that they're in a safe environment.
Absolutely. It's a great opportunity to talk about your business in a different way, and we're going to come onto that again in a minute, but it's about building confidence, isn't it, Pam? And clean and screen. Don't just do it once at the beginning of the day. Make sure you've got people out there, they're seen to be cleaning, supporting customers, supporting your team and your staff on throughout the time that you open for business. And I often talk about people must see and feel safe and confident when engaging with you, whether you're a retailer, whether you've got business premises, offices, you're expecting clients to come in, they need to see and feel that it's a safe place to be. You need to build confidence with them. And flexibility as well is key. Don't stick rigidly to how you did things before lockdown was imposed, but think about how you could do things differently. And think about when you first opened your business, whatever kind of business you're in, how many changes did you make in your first year in your business? And be flexible and be prepared to make changes now as you reopen your business. Continually assess, look at what's working, what's not working, make tweaks. I'm sure over the next few weeks, you will need to make changes in your business on a regular basis, whether it's daily, whether it's every few days or every week. Keep looking at what's working, what's not working, where you're getting, sort of pinch points in the business, whether that's through a process or whether it's physical people pinch points. Look at the business and keep reassessing what's working well and what's working for you in your business.
going to be a learning for a lot of people, I think.
Excuse me. Absolutely, Pam. Absolutely. The second part is about, rebuilding your team. Now, Pam and you and I have never actually met, have we? You joined
I know how weird is that?
in person. It's a great example, though, that there will be people in your business that have started as you have, Pam, during the lockdown period. You've joined the team. It's great to have you with us, but we've never met face to face. It's been over 12 months now since I've met seen any of my colleagues, because of where we live geographically and how the business is now running online. But as you bring your team back together, you need to give them the confidence to talk to your team about how things are going to change, how things have changed. Take them on the journey. Talk to them about your vision for the business going forwards. Communicate what is expected of them. Think about how you can be flexible. Think about how you can work virtually as well as in person. Think about all the benefits of how we've worked over the last 12 months, and look at perhaps what changes you need to make to accommodate both styles and ways of working going forwards. Community and communication are so important. I was talking on a webinar workshop this morning with clients about change management, and communication is the key to any change management process. Get the communication wrong and the change won't work as effectively as you want it to. So think about how you're going to communicate with your staff over the next few weeks. Excuse me again. Also, I would say make sure you've got the right standards and protocols in place. Look at what you're expecting of your team as you go forwards. Look at what processes and protocols. When did you last look at your staff handbook? In terms of flexible working, in terms of new ways of delivering your business, of working in the business, make sure you've got all those systems and processes in place in your business. And do bear in mind that productivity may take time.
Yeah.
Productivity may dip. As people come back together and get used to working in a different way, you may need to, to accept that everyone is effectively new again in the business.
Yeah.
Accept that everyone is coming into the business from a different pace. Everyone's been on a very personal journey over the last 12, 18 months. Pam and we know that, COVID has affected us in different ways.
Yeah.
It's affected our families. It's affected us personally. You were saying, Pam, I don't think that you haven't had COVID unless you're 18.
I was just saying that before we came on. Yeah,
I know that I have. I know that I've lost very close family members. It's affected us all in very different ways. So we need to be bearing that in mind as we bring our team together. Be sensitive, be compassionate, and be clear about what our expectations are and how we want to work together going forwards. And
I would imagine. Sorry, Stu. Imagine there's probably people that are starting today that are actually just starting for the first time with that business as well, because I'm sure that people have lost staff along the way. Even if they were furloughed, they might have moved, employers, and there's probably new people starting.
Absolutely.
Today, it must be quite a daunting day, I think, for quite a lot of people. I would imagine.
I often say, treat everybody as if it's their first day in the business. The toilets are. Show people where the community areas are. Talk to people about the safe distance and working protocols you're going to have in the business going forwards, because it would have changed very much. Even if you've opened between the different lockdowns, it would have changed again, I'm sure. So it's about absolutely, Pam, treating people as if it's their first day. And every business has its natural attrition rate, the natural moving on, changing of personnel. And there will be people starting with your business for the first time today. If you're in the pub retail sector, you'll have new people, I'm sure, in the hospitality sector joining you for the first time. So think about what skills you've got, what experience you've got, how you can buddy people up together. Think about what training is needed in your business to make sure your business doesn't just survive, but thrives as you move forwards. So there we are, point number 2. So moving on to point number 3 is all about, telling people, and Pam, you touched on this earlier on, now is a great time to think about deals and promoting your business. Remember that in most businesses, 20% of your customers generate 80% of your revenue in the business. So think about the deals you want to do for different target audiences. Who do you want to attract into the business? When did you last talk to your existing customers? Those customers who've been loyal to you for many years, maybe, or for the last 12 months, still bought from you online. How are you going to make them feel special? So think about who your top 20 customers are, 20%. You can either have your top 20, depending on the business, or your top 20%. Think about who they are. Think about what might attract them to the business to come and spend more with you. Think about those first responders, those people who were there for us at the outset of this pandemic. We've talked a lot over the last 12 months about NHS and key workers. You know, don't forget about them. They were there at the beginning. They've been there all the way through for us. Now is a great time to reward them and say thank you. Our postmen, those local authority workers who've been there for us. You know, there's many people who've been there as key workers and NHS staff. So, you know, think about who you can respond to and how you can support them and do special deals for them as well. I've already mentioned your existing customers. What sort of offer would bring them out? People may be hesitant to step out of the safety and comfort of their own homes. I know my partner's out shopping at the moment. She needs to get shoes for school for her children, but she's waiting outside the shop. You know, think about what you can do to entertain, to support your staff and your customers as they come back to shop with you.
Yeah. Oh no.
And also think about you know, how you can sort of tempt people to come and just try you out for the first time. Maybe they've not bought from you before. Maybe they're not an existing customer. What can you do to attract those new customers to come and find out more about you and your business, to come and try you out?
Yeah.
And don't just have 1 day deals, don't just have 1 week deals, but bear in mind it may take a while to get people to you. So have have deals that go for the whole month. You know, don't discount. The number of business owners I know, Pam, and sort of potential clients who have learned to discount before they've learned to count. But think about what added value you can offer in your business right now, whether it's perceived value or actual value. You know, what can you offer? What can you do to differentiate yourself in the community, in your sector, your industry right now? How can you make yourself stand out? And once you've got those deals sort of in your mind and fleshed out and worked out, then it's about how you're going to tell people. And Pam, you touched on this earlier on about, you know, building up the excitement. If you've not done it already, build up the excitement to reopening, whether it's this week, whether it's next week, whenever it is you're reopening. Even if you've already reopened, jump on the bandwagon and talk about it now. Tell people you have reopened. Tell people that you can't wait to see them again.
Yeah, and then, you know, it's do a post at the end of, if you're a business that's open today, you know, do post at the end of the day to tell people how it went, you know, because there's, you know, I'm just thinking from our sort of point of view that there's a lot of people won't have gone out today because they'll suspect that everywhere will be really busy.
Yeah,
you know, I've seen a couple of extremes actually today, where I've seen one of my friends on Facebook has posted about her gym experience first thing this morning, and she took a photograph of the gym and it was dead. And then the completely opposite extreme, where I've had another friend who posted about her gym experience, and she was saying that it was really busy.
Yeah.
So you know, that's two very different scenarios, but both at the gym. So
and I guess, you know, retail and hospitality, it's going to depend on the weather. You know, particularly we're sitting outside. I've seen lots of funny videos over the last few weeks.
It snowed overnight here.
Yes, sitting outside in the snow with their beer and their meal outside. You know, whereas where I am, it's actually sunny and warm outside at the moment. I've just mowed the lawns this morning. So it's about, you know, it will vary across the country. So if you are a retailer that's got different outlets in different places, you know. But what I would do, absolutely as you've said, Pam, is announce every step. You know, at the end of today, put on social media what your first day's been like. You know, if you can, and there's opportunities to talk, you know, to your BBC local radio news station, or, you know, your local independent newspapers, your local independent news radio stations, you know, as a member of your business community, talk about what it's been like. You know, grab the opportunities to talk about your business and your industry, to raise awareness of your business in your local community. Announce every step of the way. Use social media to take people on the journey, as Pam was saying quite rightly earlier on. And if you have new team members, even if you have existing team members, which I'm sure if you have, with your existing team members, talk about what they're doing. Talk about what Jack's doing behind the bar. Talk about what Claire's doing, or Simon is doing in the kitchen, preparing the food and the pizzas. Talk about, you know, announce your new front of house staff team. Talk about, you know, Sarah, who's in the bookings department at the travel agents. You know, talk about different people in different parts of your business and how they are coming together to reopen your business. Talk about everybody, but use every opportunity in social media. Don't do it all in one day, obviously.
No, not all in one. No.
Don't bombard social media in one day, but use
Yeah.
these opportunities to talk about the journey, to talk about your business over the next week, over the next few weeks, and instill confidence and take your customers and your prospects on the journey with you. Applaud your team, make them feel welcome and safe, and use that as an opportunity to encourage your clients, potential prospects, to come and do business with you as well. And of course, announce every deal. Don't launch all your deals on the first day of opening. Spread those deals out. If you're giving discounts on haircuts, or whether you're giving discounts on different products, different services, or different foods and beverages, hold some of those deals back and space them out. Have a deal of the week or a deal of the day, but don't do it all on day one. Go on. Were you going to say something then, Pam? No.
Yeah, actually I was and forgotten. Doesn't matter. I'll come back to it.
And if you have a plan, build up the excitement. Let people know that next Monday you've got a special offer on X, or on Monday the 29th or Monday the 26th of April, you've got an offer on something else. Start to build that excitement and build that anticipation with your clients as well. And what I'm saying is, whatever you're doing, announce it, is the bottom line of this slide. Whatever you're doing, announce it. Get people excited that you're reopening. Make a list of announcements. Plan things out for yourselves in the business. Use photography, use imagery, use videos. Pam, you and I both talked about the power of video online. That play button is the most powerful button on any social media platform, isn't it? People want to know what's going on. They're nosy.
Yeah, absolutely. And, what I was going to say there is that, if you are, in the hospitality industry and you're opening your doors today, I saw a fantastic post last night in, one of the hotels that I used to frequent quite a lot. And over this last few months, he's built an amazing sort of outside, I don't know what you would call it, just outside area. And, he's got heating there as well. So, it's kind of like, for those people who are feeling apprehensive about standing in, dare I say, the snow, which hopefully won't come back, but he's made it. I mean, what my daughter and I were looking at, it kind of looks like a building, but without the walls. So there's all the seating area, everything's spaced out nicely. It's all beautifully laid out, and there's heaters there too. So then it makes it a more albeit slightly more pleasurable experience if it's slightly cold outside.
Absolutely.
You can stay dry. If
it just goes back to my point earlier on, Pam, about knowing the local rules of the game. Because I've seen some great examples of where hospitality has really pivoted and thought, how can we do things differently? And I remember in the Eat Out to Help Out last August, and I just love the way some of the businesses had really modernized the way they operate the business, the systems and the processes they got in place to limit contact. It almost pushed businesses forward 10 years in terms of how they enhanced and used technology. That's not to say there's a lot to be said for the personal touch of having somebody at your table supporting and serving you, waitresses, waiters, etc. But what I would say, what you've just reminded me of, Pam, is I have seen examples in the local press where I am at the moment of different hospitality venues where they've put these lovely gazebos and outdoor buildings up, but make sure you know the local rules of your game, not just on a national level, but on a local level, because I have seen examples and read of examples where they've had to be dramatically changed at great extent because they've not met the planning requirements or not met the local COVID requirements. So whatever you are doing, all I would say is just urge caution and make sure you know what the local requirements are in your business.
The last thing you want to do is offend people and then lose business. Do that,
or have a very expensive outdoor structure taken down, or had to be modified when you've spent a lot of money doing it. I love the way I've seen many businesses pivot over the last 12 months. I don't know, Pam, if I've talked to you about my greengrocer and florist example. It's my favorite story this time last year, where a florist was struggling to keep going last March 2020. As we headed in towards Mother's Day, she was struggling to get hold of flowers. She went into pot plants. Then she started delivering gifts. But then in the local business community was put in contact with a greengrocer who was struggling to get vegetables out to sell their produce because they didn't have the trade. So they teamed up and started doing veg boxes. because the florist had the man and van and the greengrocer had the produce. And that
Brilliant.
partnership is still working together today. And I just love the way businesses across the country and across our brilliant country have had to think and pivot and are now thriving because of the way they've changed the way they do business. And that's not to say that going back to opening our doors and face-to-face trading isn't the right thing. It's brilliant, but let's not lose what we've also gained as a result of lockdown in terms of how we do business. And I think that's really important. In terms of opening up, it's a bit old-fashioned maybe, but don't miss the opportunity to celebrate. Have a good old-fashioned ribbon cutting. It doesn't have to be on the first day, but generate a story for the local press. Generate your first customer coming in, your first meal, your first pint that you're pulling, the first of something. Celebrate that moment when you're reopening your business for the first time, because your competitors may not be celebrating, but why shouldn't you? Maximize the opportunity on social media, in the press, on the radio, or whatever opportunities you have to communicate, you're reopening. Make sure you celebrate. Celebrate surviving. Get photographs. Celebrate your team. Get photographs of the team coming back together. I talked earlier on about celebrating all the roles in your business, but take photographs. Celebrate your customers. Have the stories of your customers. Why have they come back to you? You can get some great testimonials. You've had some great testimonials or great customers, I'm sure, supporting you and staying with you over the last 12 months. Celebrate those partnerships and celebrate those sales. I call them your own sales force. Those customers who've stuck by you and are continuing to stick by you now. Get their stories of their journey over the last 12 months and use that to promote your business.
I love that ribbon cutting. That's a great idea.
Yeah, there was a story when we reopened, but when businesses reopened last autumn and Eat Out to Help Out. I remember there was a pizza delivery company near where I live, and they wrapped ribbon around the car.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, and
what great marketing that is.
And they had the car with the ribbon around it being cut open, and they were giving away free pizza slices. They stuck the car in the middle of the town centre. Cut the ribbon, and we're giving away free pizza samples. Just think outside the box. There's so many ways in which you can celebrate reopening and being in business, having survived. Celebrate that survival, and also it's a great opportunity for Pam to talk about the vision for your business going forwards. Yeah. What are you going to be doing in the next 12 months? What are your latest offers? What are your latest? How have you pivoted the business? What are you doing differently now that you perhaps didn't do before? Make sure that everyone knows that you're reopening. Celebrate your community. So don't just celebrate your own business, but celebrate. I was talking about the greengrocer and the vegetable and the florist earlier on. Yeah. Celebrate those you've worked with. Talk about your business community as well. Make it memorable and make it newsworthy. It's so important. There's so many opportunities to think outside the box right now, and celebrate being back in business, being reopened, and celebrate your customers coming back to you. So a great number 5 there. Redo your celebration. Think of all the different ways in which you can celebrate reopening. But alongside doing that, if you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. And the number of clients I've spoken to, not just over the last 12 months, but all the time I've been with Action Coach, who, as I said earlier on, have learned to discount before they've learned to count. Make sure you know your numbers. Make sure your numbers are up to date. Make sure you know how much you need to make this week to stay in business. Your numbers would have changed. They're continually changing. Make sure you know what you need to make every single week. Every decision you make in your business right now will either make you money or cost you money. And you need to keep reevaluating every decision you take. Is it working? Is it not working? Test and measure it. Bye, Pam. Oh, no, you're...
Sorry, my daughter is just waving to me. I'm trying to say I'm live right now.
No. What did I say? Never work with animals and children. So I've got my 2 in the background as well. I've learned to give them their tablets for the hour I do my live webinars, but mine are slightly younger than yours, Pam. But it is, going back to what we were saying, every decision in your business right now will either make you money or cost you money. So I asked all my clients, all my team, all those who are working with, how much do you need to make this week to keep your business afloat? Ask yourself that question. Do you know the numbers? Do you know how much you need to make this week to stay afloat? Which of your products or services are making you most money? If you've introduced new services or new products either today, either in the last 6 months, or you plan to in the future, keep reviewing, keep identifying the break-even points, the profit break-even points, and work out what's working best for you. Check your money and your cash flow more often, not less often. As I said, know your break-even points. And if you have, I'm sure many of us have accessed government support, financial support, and continue to do so. Use that opportunity wisely. You know, don't go and spend all your money up front. You know, it's more important now than ever to make sure you've got cash on hand, is what I would say. And don't just know what money you've got in the bank, but know what credit opportunities you've got, or credit options you've got going forward as well. Because you, as I said earlier in this webinar, you may find your productivity dips before it goes up, and therefore your profitability will dip before it goes up. So make sure you've got the cash buffer in the bank to keep your business going, because those businesses that have sadly failed, every single one of them over the last 12 months and longer, have all gone because of a cash flow issue. There may have been other things, but it comes back to cash flow. So make sure you know the cash flow situation in your business, and the more delicate it is, the more often you need to keep track of that on a regular basis. Now, Pam, this is an area that I know is of your expertise, but rethink your marketing and sales. You know, think about how you can, you know, look at your marketing opportunities going forwards. Help and educate is more, I don't know, Pam, I'd love to hear your view on this. Are we still in that sort of phase of helping and educating rather than talking about the benefits of the products and services?
It's probably a mixture of all, really, but I mean, I suppose it's it depends where you are in your business. I mean, I suppose for any business that's opening, you know, today, they're probably back to sort of the, you know, educating their customers again, and then building up a strategy to, you know, the benefits of using them. But I suppose that can still all be incorporated on in the education side as well. So I suppose my suggestion is, you know, is over. I'm sure it's going to be quite an overwhelming week for most businesses that are open, and if they don't have you know, an individual person who's actually doing their digital marketing for them, and if they're the owner of the business and they're doing it themselves, it's probably going to be quite overwhelming. But you know, I would urge you to try and get some content out there this week, you know, for sure, as I say, to educate your you know, your clients or your customers. But it is good to kind of build a strategy going forward, you know, a more sort of long-term strategy of what you, I mean, obviously, when I say long-term, I mean, I'm not talking long-term at the moment, because we don't know what's going to happen when, but I mean, you know, even if you're just building a strategy this month, next month, you know, and you just continue working on that basis, it's at least, you know, kind of what content that you're putting out there for, you know, say for the month of April. And then at the end of April, you plan for, you know, for May. You know, long term now is a lot shorter than it was before.
Absolutely. And you know, it is about remembering the journey everyone's been on, isn't it? You know, and thinking about the fear and the worry that people may, well, I talked earlier on about, you know, the personal journey we've all taken. What I would say is think about what your competitors are doing right now. You know, do your research. You know, what offers, what's their pricing strategy, what's on their websites. People's buying habits will have changed.
Yeah, definitely.
I know you laugh, Pam, when I talk about lawnmowers. But at the beginning of lockdown last year, I bought a new house with a new garden. I needed to buy a lawnmower, so I did all my research online. But I think people have got into that habit of doing their due diligence, so doing their research, even if they're coming out into the marketplace, into the retail sector, you know, into shops and businesses in person. They're still doing their research online to see what offers, what availability, what products they might want to buy before and alongside going and doing it in person as well. So do your research online.
One thing I was just going to say as well is it's nice, you know, even as a business, to kind of say to your clients and customers how helpful reviews and testimonials are, and encourage your clients and customers to give you some reviews since you've experience with your audience too. And I think us as customers too have to be patient, because these businesses haven't been open for a long time, that we have to understand that these businesses are learning too. So, you know, it's kind of almost like re-educating as a business, re-educating your customer to say, you know, we wouldn't intentionally make a mistake, but if we do, you know, we're learning too, because that's, you know, and it's kind of making it all real for people, so people understand that, you know, the customer understands what they're coming into.
Yeah,
as
and I
a
think that
business
ties in,
owner. Yeah.
really well with that next point on the screen, Pam, isn't it? You know, you may take more steps, it may take longer to win the customer, to close the sale.
Yeah.
You know, because there's that more conversation, there may be more fear on the customer's part. But you know, it may just take more steps in your sales process to convince and secure new customers, and to have that conversation and to explain, you know, how you do business differently.
Yeah.
Um, so I think it's really important to bear that in mind. I also think it's, you know, to continue what we've learned and what we've gained from lockdown in terms of marketing over the last 12 months. You know, make use of videos, testimonials, those customers who are your raving fans, and we've all got them. You know, ask them to feedback about your business, to do testimonials either in writing or on video or in person if you can as well. Think about, you know, the quality of those videos. Think about, you know, locations, different products, different services. Don't just have, you know, standard bland videos about your business, but talk about the products or services and their experience. And dare I say, Pam, you may have a different view on this, but I think every challenge in a business is an opportunity, and every complaint is a nugget of gold.
Oh
And
God, yeah.
if you have got clients where things haven't gone off to the best of starts, but you've won them round, they are often the best testimonials of all, because it demonstrates how you as a business owner and how your staff and your team are dedicated to making sure every customer has the best experience in your business.
Yeah. Yeah. And don't, you know, don't I know it's easy to say it from an outsider, but don't kind of get angry and emotional if somebody does leave a bad review. You know, comment on it and say how you're going to improve. You know, or there's some sort of misunderstanding. I know it's easy for me to say that when I'm in the outside, but you know, it shows more about you as a business if you respond to that complaint than it does if you ignore it, or you know, it's much better to respond. I always personally feel, and I do always encourage people to respond to those, you know, even if it's a negative review.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I think, you know, do as I said earlier on, bear in mind it may take longer to win the sale, to win
Mm.
your client prospects over, but also now is a great time to continue to ask those questions, to be more business, more customer centric. You know, always tell a little story of a MOT servicing garage, and they were spending lots of money on different marketing strategies. And it wasn't until every time somebody phoned up to book an MOT or a service, they asked their customers, "How did you hear about us today?" They started to understand what marketing strategies were working and what weren't. So depending on the size of the business, you know, if you're serving customers in the store, in your hospitality, you know, even if you only capture a third in terms of response, you know, why did you come to us today? Or, you know, which is your favorite kind of beer? You know, what was it about that product that made you buy it today? You know, start asking those questions and start engaging and ask more questions of your customers, of your clients, in your business. You know, try and find out what their needs are and try not to be too pushy in terms
Yeah.
of the way you sell and promote your business right now. You know, think about an empathy, sympathy for customers, understand the journey they've been on as well, and we've all been on. But
Mm.
really ask those questions of your customers and clients as we go forward. Because ultimately, what it is right now is about building those relationships and rebuilding those relationships as restrictions start to ease.
Yeah.
Pam, did you
Definitely.
want to add any more to that?
Yeah, just, you know, don't be afraid to ask your customer how you can improve the experience for them.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
it's, you know, if for instance, you know, you're a gym and people are feeling, actually, out of all the industries that I feel nervous about going back into, the gym, and I'm not being that nervous over the last 12 months about this sort of thing, but the gym is probably the one place that I would. So it's kind of like, you know, ask the person, ask your members, you know, how could we make it, how could we make this easier for you? What do you want when you walk through the door? You know, and then you give them that experience.
Yes, and I think also tell people what the experience, as you said, what experience to expect going out into the retail sector or going out to the hospitality sector. You know, I've got two young children. What would I expect? What would I
Yes.
expect when I go into a pub or a restaurant? What would I expect if I go into a shopping centre? You know, into a particular shop. So try and relate that to your potential customers. Talk to them about the journey. Talk to them about what they can expect when they come into your and engage with your business going forwards. We talked about that earlier on in terms of announcements. Take people on the journey with you, but build those relationships and continue to talk to those existing clients, those existing customers, and help them to be part of your sales force as they're raving fans of you.
Yeah.
I've got 2 more points left just before we finish. I'm conscious of time, Pam. Just want to say, it's about rethanking everybody, and thank you, Pam, for being with us today. Really appreciate that. But it's really important to thank your customers. Thank those people who've stood by you over the last 12, 18 months and continuing to do business with you, whether you're service based, whether you're retail based, whether you're product based. Thank your existing customers. Absolutely, without any shadow of a doubt, make sure your team feel appreciated. Thank your team for sure. Make sure you communicate with your team, you talk to them about what's expected of them, but you show appreciation. And people all talk different languages. Some people may see that appreciation words. Some people may see it in actions. Some people may want it in the pay packet. I know times are difficult right now, but if you can show appreciation to your team in terms of flexible approach, in terms of words, in terms of actions, really go out of your way to show your appreciation and show your team that they are valued now more than ever, and that you appreciate them sticking with you, whether they've been on furlough and come back, whether they've worked throughout lockdown for you, whatever the scenario is, and those new team members as well. Make sure everyone in your business really does feel important and show how important they are to you. Also, your suppliers, when I talk about team, the team in the wider sense, your suppliers, bankers, accountants, coaches, whoever's been there with you, supporting your business along the way, make sure you communicate and appreciate them as well. Handwritten notes mean an awful lot. Pam, I still go back to lockdown 6 months ago, and a box of chocolates when I wasn't getting much post through the post at that time. And I had a box of chocolates from somebody I've been working with throughout lockdown. And that little box of chocolates wasn't huge, but just meant so much. I'm still talking about it today.
Yeah.
Think about what you can do to engage and thank everybody. Another example of a client we were working with this time last year. Their business was all about fencing and garden fencing, and for obvious reasons, they didn't do much business last summer. But what they did do is they sent out a pack of seeds to every single one of their clients, a little pack of forget-me-not seeds. Just says, I appreciate your order has gone on hold, but don't forget we're still here to support you. Any questions, and we look forward to receiving and doing business with you as soon as we can. Engage with your existing clients, existing customers. Those handwritten notes, those little gestures of goodwill and kindness go an awful long way to turning your clients into raving fans, and your team.
Really do. Yeah.
And your team into raving fans as well. And so, remember, it's good to be alive. It's helpful to drive your business forwards. And dare I say, people are surprised when I say this, but even the media and the politicians, I can think of people where I live, the local politicians have done so much for the local community, the local business community here. And I take away politics at one moment, national politics, but there are those advocates in your business community, in your town, in your city, that have done so much to help keep things going forwards for your business and for your business community. So make sure that they've got you on their radar and you've got them on your radar. Have those, keep those relationships going, and don't forget to say thank you. And your fellow business owners, those business owners out there that have helped support you in your business going forwards, whether you have partnerships with them, whether you're in the same business improvement district, the same bid, or the same networking groups, support them, thank them for the support they've given you, whether it's been emotional support, physical support, practical support, business support, whatever that help and support has been, thank them. Just thank them for being there and encouraging you through what's been a very difficult time for us all. And my very last point, I remember that this time last year, Pam, talking to business owners, prospects, and saying, if you had a plan for 2020, it's time to rewrite it. Well, if you had a plan for 2021, you still need to go back and revisit it, because times are changing all the time. We've just gone into April, into a new financial quarter, the start of a new financial year. Now is a great time to rewrite your plan, to have a 90-day plan, not just to survive, but to thrive. So a 90-day plan to survive, and then stretch yourself. What else can you do? A 90-day plan to thrive as well. Reopening is always harder than closing down. There is so much to consider, so many different people involved. It's not a one size fits all, as we've said along the webinar this lunchtime. So think about that reopening plan. Think about the different steps you need to take along the way. We can't afford simple mistakes. The business world is delicate. Your business is delicate. You know, it's a bit like going into major surgery. We can't afford simple mistakes. We need to plan and think about our actions right now. Think about safety of our team and your customers and suppliers. So get the plans in place and get them right first time round.
Yeah.
If you need help and support, there are people out there. And as I say, think about what can go wrong as well as what you want to go right. You know, be your own critical friend. Get somebody else with their perspective. Talk through your plans with them, whether it's a business coach, whether it's a partner, whether it's a business partner, whether it's your team. You know, involve your team along the way, but talk about your plans and take a few days, as and when you can, in the next few weeks to plan and prepare for the next few months. Having that time to think ahead will really help you not just to survive but to thrive. Because I always go back to this slide. We want you to have the energy, the clarity, the focus, the commitment, and the ownership. 5 key behaviors that every business owner needs to have right now, so that you're not just in the race, you're at the head of the race, you're at the front of that race, you're at the front of that sprint, you're leading from the front with maximum effort. You've got to focus on your existing clients, you've got all those new marketing initiatives in place, and you're testing and measuring what's working. And most of all, you are communicating. Change management in any industry, in any type of business, takes great communication to get it right. So really, you know, take time to make sure you communicate and get those plans in place effectively. So take time to rewrite your plan. Think of the positives, think of the challenges, and make sure you take time to think of every step of the way over the next 90 days. You know, what are you doing week on week, month on month in your business to get things right? Pam, do you want to add anything just before I finish off?
No. I don't, I don't think so. There's quite a
Okay.
lot to say in marketing sense, but nothing to add just now. But
Good,
just to say that, if people did want to, to reach out to me if they're, if they haven't got a marketing plan in place, I do have a free discovery call that we can chat about as well.
absolutely. So Pam leads on our marketing and both digital marketing, social media, and is a marketing expert. So if you want to have a conversation about your marketing strategy with Pam, please do reach out. You can get her contact details from our website, which is on the screen there. Or Pam, do you want to give your direct email out?
Yeah, it's Pamela Taylor at Love for Marketing. So it's LUV4 marketing.com.
Brilliant. There are many people out there who've got Love for Marketing on the screen at the bottom there. There are many people out there who are there to support you and help you on the journey, and will happily have that conversation with you, that initial free conversation, to see how we can support and help you in your business. There is free coaching sessions, a free coaching session to anybody on this call, anybody who wants to or is listening later on, anybody who wants to make contact with us via the website will happily book you in for a free coaching session. Pam will happily book you in for a free marketing strategy, a discovery call. There are 3 things in your business which you need right now. One is a cash flow forecast. One is a marketing plan, and the third is absolutely a business plan for the minimum the next 90 days in your business. So a general business plan, a marketing plan, and a cash flow forecast. The 3 things you need in your business. We have a 6 steps business health check, which you're welcome to join us for. We have one today. We have one on Thursday. We run them every couple of weeks here at Action Coach. A great way for you to come and listen and talk and engage with other business owners and share your journey, share your ideas about your business, and help understand where the strengths and where the challenges are in your business at the moment. We have our Lunch and Learn webinars every Monday and every Wednesday. This Wednesday coming, we've got Adam Wootton, who is a sales coach, coming to talk to us about how to have a great sales strategy in your business. We also have our 30X program, which is 30 mini workshops to support your business, totaling 15 hours of content, a 90-day planning workshop, accountability coaching sessions every single week for just £30 with no contract. That is amazing value right now. So if you think that would work for your business, again, please do get in touch. Please do connect with us on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and visit our website, which is birmingham.actioncoach.co.uk. So what I would ask you to do now is just go away, list the 5 things you can take from this Lunch and Learn and put into action in your business. Excuse me.
Oh dear,
My
Stephen.
boys have just about coped with that. I hope you all are staying well and staying safe. And we'll see you on Wednesday for our next Lunch and Learn. Thank you again to Pam for joining us on this Monday lunchtime. Thank you, Pam.
Hope your throat gets better.
Yes, I've got a quick half an hour break for my next workshop. But thank you again, Pam. Thanks to all our listeners. And we look forward to seeing you on Wednesday.
Thank you, Stephen.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.